Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon is the veteran filmmaker's next picture, following the release of The Irishman in 2019. At the age of 78, Scorsese is showing no signs of slowing down, as his new movie is set to be just as ambitious as his previous. Scorsese has incredibly made 25 feature-length narrative films, in addition to 16 feature-length documentaries, in addition to works on TV series, shorts, and music videos. Killers of the Flower Moon will be Scorsese's second foray into the world of streaming services, as the movie marks his first collaboration with Apple Films, with the film set to have a theatrical cinematic release, courtesy of Paramount Pictures, and it will then find its home on Apple's streaming platform, Apple TV+. Here are 7 things you should know about Killers of the Flower Moon. Number 1. The story. Scorsese's film is based on journalist David Grann's non-fiction book of the same name, published in 2017. A true story, Killers of the Flower Moon investigates a series of murders that plagued the Native American Osage tribe in Oklahoma during the 1920s after valuable oil was discovered on their land, oil which made the Osage people the richest in the world per capita. The newfound wealth attracted the attention of people with nefarious intentions, and the string of murders was eventually investigated by what would later be known as the Federal Bureau of Investigations, the FBI, in one of their first ever cases, after local law enforcement proved helpless in catching the perpetrators. What they discovered was a conspiracy that shook the land to its very core. Number 2. The cast. Killers of the Flower Moon will be Martin Scorsese's very first feature-length film to star both Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro. All 3, Scorsese, De Niro, and DiCaprio, appeared as fictionalized versions of themselves in the Scorsese-directed The Audition, but neither actor has worked on a feature-length movie with Scorsese, despite both being his regular muses. Scorsese began his working relationship with Robert De Niro with 1973's Mean Streets, and the duo went on to make Taxi Driver, New York, Raging Bull, The King of Comedy, Goodfellas, Cape Fear, and Casino. Then De Niro himself introduced Scorsese to Leonardo DiCaprio, who he worked with on This Boy's Life, and Scorsese went on to make Gangs of New York, The Aviator, The Departed, Shutter Island, and The Wolf of Wall Street with DiCaprio, before working with De Niro for the first time in 20 years with his last movie, The Irishman. And now, the opportunity has finally come about for all 3 to work together, with De Niro playing the villainous William Hale, and DiCaprio, his nephew Ernest Burkhart, caught between his loyalty to his uncle and his love for his Osage family. The film will also star the likes of Jesse Plemons, Lily Gladstone, Tantu Cardinal, and Louis Cancelmi. Number 3. The film will be Martin Scorsese's first ever Western. As someone who is a big fan of the likes of John Ford and Sergio Leone, and whose work is highly influenced by Westerns, it's surprising that, in a career spanning over 50 decades, Scorsese has yet to delve into the genre. One of the things that attracted Scorsese to the project was the theme of genocide, and exploring the mentality of being able to kill a people for being different to you. In an interview, the film director said, "We think it's a Western. It happened in 1921-1922 in Oklahoma. There are certainly cowboys, but they have cars and also horses. The film is mainly about the Osage, an Indian tribe that was given horrible territory, which they loved because they said to themselves that whites would never be interested in it. Then we discovered oil there, and for about 10 years, the Osage became the richest people in the world per capita. Then, as with the Yukon and the Colorado mining regions, the vultures disembark, the white man, the European arrives, and all was lost. There, the underworld had such control over everything that you were more likely to go to jail for killing a dog than for killing an Indian. It's so interesting to think about the mentality that leads us to this. The history of civilization goes back to Mesopotamia. The Hittites were invaded by another people. They disappear, and later it is said that they have been assimilated, or rather, absorbed. It is fascinating to see this mentality which is reproduced in other cultures through 2 world wars, and which is therefore timeless, I think. This is the film that we are going to try to make. Number 4. The budget. Now, you might have thought that The Irishman was kind of expensive at around $150 million, being a gangster film and all, but it was necessary given the de-aging CGI required on the elderly cast for flashback scenes. This is one of the key reasons why the film was rejected by Hollywood studios and Netflix ended up financing the picture. And you might also think that Scorsese would now go back to making mid-budget movies that would have no trouble finding financing. Well, it might surprise you to learn then that Killers of the Flower Moon is said to be even more expensive than The Irishman, with a budget of a whopping $200 million. And just as they did with The Irishman, Paramount Pictures sold the picture to a streaming platform, this time Apple Studios. However, this time round, Scorsese's film will get a full theatrical release, unlike The Irishman, as Paramount remain the distributors of the film, and the movie after its cinematic run will then head over to Apple TV+. And it wasn't only the huge budget which gave Paramount cold feet, which brings us to number 5, the script changes. Originally, Killers of the Flower Moon was set to be a straight-up murder mystery with Leonardo DiCaprio playing the lead FBI investigator looking to solve the murders of the Osage natives. However, DiCaprio became interested in playing the morally ambiguous Ernest Burkhart, and it wasn't a case of a simple character change. Rather, the script was given a major overhaul, with it being now described as less commercial and more of a moody character study. Screenwriter Eric Roth said that he and Leonardo DiCaprio fought over the script, with DiCaprio winning half of the arguments and Roth winning half. The movie seems set now to focus primarily on the villains of the picture, and DiCaprio's character was passed on to Jesse Plemons, with he and DiCaprio quoted by Roth as sharing around the same amount of screen time. Number 6. Scorsese has worked closely with the Osage Nation for the film. As well as having numerous Native Americans in his picture, Scorsese visited the Osage Nation in order to better learn their culture and to work with their leaders to accurately depict the Osage tribe in his film. One of the film's lead consultants is Chief of the Osage Nation Jeffrey Standing Bear, and another is Osage Nation Film Ambassador Chad Renfro. Scorsese and DiCaprio made a presentation for Standing Bear and Renfro where they addressed their intentions with the film, citing themes of trust and betrayal as key, and how the story of Molly Kyle and Ernest Burkhart is a microcosm of the wider betrayal of the Osage people by the white community. Number 7. The crew. Killers of the Flower Moon has a high-profile team behind it. The movie is written by Eric Roth, the scriptwriter of The Insider, Forrest Gump, and The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Rodrigo Prieto, who shot Scorsese's The Wolf of Wall Street, Silence, and The Irishman, is the cinematographer of the film. Legendary production designer Jack Fisk, who worked on There Will Be Blood and numerous Terrence Malick films, is working on the film, as is longtime Scorsese editor Thelma Schoonmaker and longtime Scorsese music collaborator Robbie Robertson. For more updates and news on Killers of the Flower Moon, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification button down below. And thanks for watching.